we wanted to make a documentary about, hey, what does it take to do this? And I said, okay, well, I'll run for president and we'll film it. I just started asking around, and somebody said, well, I think the Icehouse is for sale. The Icehouse, wow, that's a very historic comedy club.
Yeah.
So
the oldest comedy club in America.
So I met with the owner and we hit it off right away, and basically I bought it the next day. My father loved comedy, so we never thought about ever owning a comedy club. I mean, that was...
You never even thought about that?
Never even thought about it, but we went to every comedy show we possibly could,
Hi guys, welcome to Cat Jam, and today we have a special guest, Johnn Buss.
Thank you, Kat. Nice to be here.
Wow, Johnn Buss, everyone. So Johnny, come on, this is NBA Summer League. We got to talk about the Lakers, right?
Yeah, Summer League up in Las Vegas. Isn't that great? It's been a wonderful experience to keep the NBA going in Las Vegas here. The Lakers have played their preseason games here, as long as I can remember, maybe the last 15, 16 years,
So I know we're going to do a little bit intro about Johnn Buss. You guys know Johnny, Buss family owns Lakers, and Johnny also owns a comedy club in Pasadena, Icehouse, which is my home club in LA as well. And also Johnny also did something very special this year. We're going to talk about that later on as well. But let's back to Lakers first. So this is a big year for Lakers. LeBron James signed a new contract with Lakers, and also you guys drafted his son, Bronny.
Yeah, Bronny's going to... actually, Bronny attended the same school that my kids attend, Sierra Canyon. And so it was great to watch him actually grow from a very young age to still a very young age. But now here he is in the pros with his father, playing with his father, and in front of a new coach that we have.
Which coach?
JJ Redick.
JJ Redick.
Yeah.
So how do you like this new coach?
Oh, I think he's going to be great. I think the youth and, a lot of people say the inexperience because this is his first time as a head coach. But that didn't stop people like Pat Riley. So we're looking forward to a great year, at least a fun year. I can tell you that.
So you said you watched Bronny growing up.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Since he was a kid?
Oh, no. Well, it wasn't that young. But he attended Sierra Canyon probably about 5 years ago. So 6 years ago.
When he was in high school?
When he was in high school,
okay.
Correct. And so he was probably a sophomore, then junior, senior. And then he went off to USC, the University of Southern California, and played there. That's when he had a little scare with his heart. But
he bounced back.
But he's bounced back, and he's playing very well in Summer League. So,
So
let's
you're
see
proud
how
of
it's going.
You guys are very proud of him and happy to draft him.
Of course. It's fantastic. I grew up with my father in the Lake organization, so it was fun to be father and son, and my other siblings, Jeannie, Janie, Jimmy, we all grew up working with the Lakers and my father. So I know what that must feel like for LeBron to actually have his son playing with him in pro basketball. It's got to be a wonderful feeling as a father, but a great experience for everybody who's going to be watching it.
Yeah, I feel like the Lakers made it a history for NBA, right? Because this is the first time in NBA history they draft father and son in the same team.
I know, it's fantastic. I'm excited about it.
Yeah,
I can't wait.
I feel like the Lakers has this spirit. It's all about the family, just like a Fast and Furious. It's about the family. Like you mentioned about Ginny, you and your father and your other brothers. It's like had this family, this kind of
it's very
spirit.
family. Yeah, I think that's part of the Lakers' success was that it was about family, and it was about encouraging each other to make sure that we did everything we possibly could to create an atmosphere, which is ultimately called Showtime, in the Los Angeles community. So I think that's all part of it. You know, we've had the sparks from the WNBA. I think that was a wonderful experience also. Again, it was all family business, and you know, we've had other minor sports leagues, the roller hockey team and the indoor soccer league and volleyball and world team tennis and all those kind of things. And each of us had to helm that organization. Whether I took over I started the LA Sparks in 1997, and I worked for them for 11 years. So that's how much dedication I put into women's basketball.
Right, that's where you met Penny, right? Penny
That's
Toller.
where I met Penny Toller, who is now our general manager at the Comedy Club. Yeah.
See, it's all about like a family as well. Now, talking about that, you know, there's so much synergy between sports and comedy. Coming from a sports field, now you own a comedy club in Pasadena.
Well, that's what's so good about it, Kat. You're part of our family now. Huh?
Yes,
you really are.
For draft me as a residence comedian at Icehouse.
And I have to give you your props. You know, you do not only a wonderful, funny job up on stage, but off stage, you know, you're a real marketing genius. You know, you promote your shows, and you do well every time that you have a show at the Icehouse. And I really appreciate that. I know Penny appreciates it too. So
thank you. I truly appreciate and love you and Penny so much. You guys are like family for me as well.
Yeah.
Like, and also thank you for coming out to support my show at Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club last night as well.
That was fun, huh?
Yeah, I hope you guys had fun. It was
Yeah,
a fun show, right?
It was a fun show.
Yeah, it's like we have magic. We have like people come up the stage to strip. I'm just joking, not strip.
Well, almost.
Yeah,
the
like
guy
those
took
couple.
off his shirt.
Yeah, the guy took off his shirt, and
that
the
was
couples gave each other BJ.
Then you had Murray come up and do some magic.
Yeah.
That was great.
I know, yes. We planned not the crowd work is not planned out with Murray. We planned out. I think that's part of being artists. You sort of have to kind of know what you're doing on stage. Yeah, I hope you guys had fun.
No, it was great. It was great. I'd love to do it again.
Yeah, totally come back, you know. So like Vegas is a place to be right now.
Well, that was the first time at Jimmy Kimmel's for me. So
how do you like the club?
I loved it. I loved the club. You know, what's really great is that this is the way, you know, I felt like when I took over the Icehouse that we had to give back to the comedians that make us laugh, you know, and to have better clubs, to have, you know, better staging and all that kind of stuff that just helps the comedians do the best they can. And I thought Jimmy Kimmel's club was great. You know?
Yeah, that's exactly how I felt like as well. I feel your Icehouse and Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club brought Comedy Club to another level. Like even last night I was in the green room talking with other comedians. In the old school comedy club, they don't have like such a nice green room for comedians, because green room is very important for comedians. That's where we get our things ready. And I feel Icehouse, I always mention about Icehouse, you guys treat the comedians so nice, from the management to staff to green room, every details make comedian feel welcoming. And like same as Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club.
Yeah, that's what the comedians deserve. I mean, you know, the comedy is a fine art. I mean, it's and there's the grand masters, just like in painting or sculpture or anything like that. There's grand masters of comedy there, and but it's a fine art, and it's a talent that not a lot of people possess. You know, I mean, you know, we have an open mic now at the Icehouse.
I heard it's going well.
And you know, it's fun to watch people go up there and, you know, they just know they're going to be a great comedian one day, you know, and they go up there and absolutely bomb to no end, you know, and it's funny, but it's sad, but it's, you know, but when they come off stage, everybody says, yeah, this is a lot more difficult than what people think it is. You know, you really have to have that art within your soul, so to speak.
Exactly.
You know, and some get away with it. You know, it's all about personality, how you work on your stage. You know, how you gravitate to people and how they gravitate to you. Your figure of speech, your tone of voice. There's so many aspects of it, and like I said, it's just like, you know, painting with oils. You know, there's certain colors and brushstrokes, and you know, that personality that you have shows up on the canvas, and it's the same in comedy.
Yeah, exactly. Comedy is kind of like a very lonely sport as well. You write alone, you perform alone, and then like kind of like sports, but it's like lonely sports. You do it on your own, right? Like you mentioned about like there are so much aspects behind it. There like is. You know, not just writing jokes, because I've seen comedians they can write jokes, but they cannot deliver jokes.
That's right.
It's like we mentioned about stage presence, charm, and everything has to coming together. So Johnny, how do you decide that you want to get a comedy club, like coming from like sports fields for so many years?
Well, you know, it's all about entertainment. I think we got into sports in the first place because our family loved entertainment. Okay,
Jeannie,
Jeannie especially.
Yeah.
Jeannie and I were the ones that wanted to get into comedy.
Right. I mentioned the last time you told me you and Jeannie want to start a show, right?
Yeah, we were going to start a show back in the 80s called the Jeannie and Johnny Show, and it was going to be kind of based off reality. This was before reality TV. And we were going to do some funny stuff inside the forum and, you know, create this kind of, I don't know, slapstick kind of humorous show. But it was kind of based a little bit on reality because it was so funny to work at the Lakers office and at the forum in Inglewood. So, yeah, Jeannie and I always wanted to do a show. So we basically grew up watching a lot of comedy. You know, my father loved comedy. You know, so we never thought about ever owning a comedy club. I mean, that was...
You never even thought about that?
Never even thought about it. But we went to every comedy show we possibly could, you know. I mean, we got to see some of the greats. So my first comedy show actually was, and probably nobody in this room knows about it, maybe, but saw the Smothers Brothers.
I don't know.
That was my first comedy show that I've ever seen. And the Smothers Brothers used to have a television series. That's how famous they were. And you know, it was wonderful going to see this, but I never thought I would ever own a comedy club or do anything in comedy.
I was just
a fan, you know. I was just a fan. I was going to go watch it. Yeah. But as it turns out, I had gotten out of the women's basketball league at that time and started racing off-road vehicles. And I did that for about 4 or 5 years. And Vegas was one of our starting points here, Vegas to Reno. I won the Vegas to Reno race back in 2017. So, you know, it was one of those things, gosh, what am I going to do next? You know, Johnn Buss is running the Lakers. She's doing a great job. You know, I'm at retirement age almost. And I'm like, no, I got to do something. And I just started asking around, and somebody said, well, I think the Icehouse is for sale, you know. And I go, the Icehouse, wow, that's a very historic comedy club.
Yeah.
So
the oldest comedy club in America.
So I met with the owner, and we hit it off right away, and basically, I bought it the next day.
Wow.
I mean,
that
literally.
that is a easy deal
Literally.
for Bob Fisher, right?
Yeah, Bob Fisher.
He's like, oh, this is the most easy business deal I ever done in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, well, Bob Stain is the one that helped open it back in 1960, and then there was Bob Fisher, and that was the only thing that they said, well, we were hoping for a third Bob that would take over the club. So I said, well, it's the best you're going to get is a Johnny.
Get a Johnny Buss, the third Bob. That is such a fun story, though. So speaking of, forum, this is a great segue we want to talk about. Is Johnny just did it this year as well, because I was there at a forum when Johnny announced his presidential campaign. So you pick that spot because it means a lot for you, right? Johnny, can you talk about that?
Yeah, well, it was one of those things where I've always wanted to run for politics, and we wanted to make a documentary about, hey, what does it take to do this? And I said, okay, well, I'll run for president and we'll film it, So we registered with the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, and I was on my way to running for president. And I thought, well, what greater publicity but doing the initial launch speech at the forum, with the forum in the background in Inglewood, where we won so many championships and did everything. It was fun, but of course there were still planes going overhead from. I forgot about that from.
But I think you and Penny both did a great speech.
It was fun. It was
fun. Everyone was supporting you guys there that day.
And then the next thing we did was we got onto a bus that was wrapped in Johnny Buss for President, and we went across the country for 30 days, stopping in every city that we could to promote Johnny Buss as an independent candidate for president. And I can't tell you how wonderful of a reception that we got across the country. Everybody was ready for an independent candidate.
Right.
If I had known that people were that serious, I would have started 2 years ago and really developed a campaign. But this was really just, hey, I wanted to see what it would take to run for president of the United States. And, now all of a sudden it's like, gosh, am I going to be too old to try this in 2028?
No, you're not too old to try that.
Obviously not. But we'll see. We'll see. I wish we had taken that, really developed something over 2 years, because it turned out that I could have done very well in 2024. There's no question I could have done very well.
Right.
But we just didn't have the time.
Yeah, because basically you signed up like last minute, right?
Oh, yeah. We didn't start our tour till May 1st. So that was, for an absolute unknown to just go off into the country on a bus.
That is great bus. That's bus for bus. That is great bus for you.
It was great. No, it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I just love meeting the real Americans that were across the country.
Yeah, talk to real people.
Yeah, the real people, and what they really wanted out of a president. And so I learned a lot, and we'll see if I do it again.
Yeah, so you never know, right?
Plus, we did film a documentary, and that'll come out in probably mid to late August, and we'll see how that goes too.
Oh, cool! So where this documentary is going to be on HBO?
We're going to get it on one of the streaming shows, I'm sure, channels. But if not, I'll just put it on YouTube.
Right, that's a new way to go, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so people want to see this journey you're taking
Doesn't
as
matter,
well.
I'm not trying to make any money off of it or anything like
yeah,
that.
exactly. It's all about people want to see what's going on that journey. Speaking of that, there is also a show about a Buss family on HBO called Winning Time, right?
Yeah.
That is a great show. How do you feel about that show?
Oh, Winning Time was one of the most enjoyable things I've ever sat and watched.
So you do like
I
the
loved
show.
it. I loved it. I mean, you know, there was a lot of liberties taken in the show. That's okay, though. You know, it was almost like, you know, when you get those caricature drawings at the theme park or something like that, of course they accentuate everything, you know. And it was okay. It was like, hey, but this is really how it was. You know, it was kind of comical. It was really serious, but at the same time, it was like, you know, this is just basketball. You know, let's lighten up here. You know, kind of thing. And you know, I don't know if Jerry West was really that intense or not, but he was pretty intense. I have to admit that, but I'm sure they accentuated it a little bit. They accentuated my dad. He never wore his shirt way down that far, but maybe one button up would have been perfect, you know, like that kind of thing. But John C. Reilly did a great job portraying my father. I forget the actor that portrayed me, but he did a great job wearing his tennis sweater or whatever. It was just really
so do you think he played a good character about you as well?
Yeah, I mean, everybody played well, especially the guy that played Magic Johnson. I think he did an absolutely incredible job. That's how I knew Magic, you know, and you know, it was just wow. You know, when you think about what we really did do back in the '80s with Showtime and everything like that, and how Irvin Johnson, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird just truly on the court made that happen, made Showtime happen. But you know, that first year that we were in there, you know, we ended up playing against Julius Erving, which was, you know, very interesting. It wasn't even Larry Bird. You know, it wasn't until the next year that we started getting that kind of Showtime publicity. And so just to relive it was wonderful. And on HBO, that was great.
Yeah, I'm glad that you gave good credit for the show, because people probably want to know from your perspective, how do you see the show, like Winning Time, right? Because that's your own experience. That's your own life.
A lot of that was absolutely 100% real. That's how it happened. But, you know, they accentuated a few of the characters, you know, and then that was it. You know.
How about like your character?
And my character? No, they did. My character was just, I'm trying to think what part of my character, I think when we were playing Monopoly or something like that, you know, it showed the family got intense every once in a while, which we did, you know. It was, but my dad used to love to play Monopoly, you know, and he used to force us to play Monopoly. And so I think he was trying to teach us something, but the only thing he taught us was to fight with each other. You know, wait a minute, you can't take my hotel, you know.
So who is always the one winning?
Oh, my father. Oh,
that's why he wants you guys to play that game.
Yeah, he wanted,
so he's the one always winning.
Yeah,
he would not let his kids win.
Right.
He's very competitive.
He was very competitive. Yeah,
wow, what an interesting take on this one.
Yeah.
So Johnny, what's next step?
The next step, well, that's a good question. We did talk about it, and like I just mentioned, you know, maybe I'll take a little bit of time off right now, and you know, the club's running very well, so I can take a little bit of time off and really think about if I want to get back into politics or not. Once I decide
time to think about it.
Yeah.
You know, consider what happened yesterday. What happened to Trump? What's your take on that one?
Oh, well, you know, I mean, it's par for course. I mean, things like that happen. You know, it's one of those things. I've lived through the assassination of President Kennedy. George Wallace was shot. Richard Nixon, Ronald Reagan was shot. Actually, he was shot in D.C. when I was in D.C., and my dad was in the hospital with a gallbladder, and it was a very strange period of time that we happened to be in D.C. when Ronald Reagan had gotten shot. So, it is just one of those things that you expect. I never thought about that kind of security when I was taking the bus across the country. A lot of people would ask me about that, aren't you worried that some crazy is going to do something, And I go, absolutely not. I mean, it's not something that you can live with or think about, you just don't do that. You have to do what you're set out to do, and that is have a platform that you're trying to get people to buy into. You can't think about it, and I'm sure that Donald's going to come back and say, hey, look at me now, kind of thing,
Yeah. Right, because you cannot live your life in fear.
Assassination attempt.
Yeah.
He's going to capitalize off of that full steam.
Yeah, everyone's talking about that. It is definitely very surprising. Yeah. So, Johnny, you are back into LA tonight, right?
Actually, I'm going to stay and see a couple of shows here tonight in Las Vegas. So I'm going to leave in the morning and get back to the Icehouse and get back to work after the campaign. Yeah.
Yes. So you need to enjoy this Vegas time. By the way, how do you feel about Vegas right now? Everyone says, oh my gosh, Vegas is a place to be. It's a capital of sports, entertainment. Even Hollywood slowly moved to Vegas right now.
It is the capital. I mean, it's. I think I mentioned to you even that in the comedy scene, that Las Vegas is really becoming again the place for comedy. I mean, it probably was back in the '60s when you had Henny Youngman playing some of the hotels here, but. Now all of a sudden there's quite a few comedy clubs, and they're being attended. Just like last night, you had great attendance at Jimmy Kimmel's club. So I'm just excited about Las Vegas. I mean, you've got your hockey team now, your baseball team, your football team, and soon to be an NBA franchise.
Yes, that's what I'm going to talk about.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, how can you turn down Las Vegas as one of the hotbeds of entertainment?
Yeah.
Not just sports and that, but music and, there's more residences here than, or becoming than ever before, I remember back in the 70s coming up here to watch Elvis Presley, over, and that was fantastic. And just to know that, he would live up in his penthouse and come down and do a show, and that kind of thing. That was the good time of Las Vegas, and I think it's coming back that way. You got your new hotels being built. This is the place to be, Vegas.
Right. I do feel Vegas started kind of booming a lot. Yeah. Like, I was so surprised to see how many people in Vegas, even it's like over 110 degrees. Everyone's here.
Well, that's what was so strange. I lived in Vegas from 1982 to 1985. I think it was 86, something like that. And during the summertime, half of the hotels would shut down. They would just close their doors because nobody would come up here. And those that did stay open, I mean, rooms were like $15, it was crazy. There was nobody here. It was a ghost town in the summertime because 110 degrees, was just a little too hot. Right. But I lived up here, so, it was, I was acclimated to it. I enjoy the heat. But it's interesting to see now in the summertime that this place is packed.
Yeah, I was so surprised to see people walking around like.
This is year round now. This is year round,
Yeah.
but people didn't understand that back in the 80s, you know, they used to 70s and the 80s, they used to shut down in the summertime. A lot of hotels.
Vegas is only getting hotter and hotter.
And
Hope
hotter
you
and
enjoy your
hotter.
time here in Vegas tonight.
No, it was great. It was great.
Yeah.
And Kat, I again, thank you so much. It was such an honor to introduce you last night at Jimmy Kimmel's.
Oh, thank you.
And, you know, I love you to death. And I hope to see you quite often, obviously at the Icehouse, but also that I get to come up here to Vegas to see
Yeah,
you.
exactly. So now I have another residence in Vegas
There you
at
go.
Jimmy Kimmel Comedy Club,
There you
and
go.
back in Icehouse, that's my residence.
That's
And
right.
by the way, my show is coming this Sunday, Icehouse, July 21st.
That's right.
I will see you there too.
Yeah, you see you there.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny, for coming to
Well, thank
the
you.
podcast. It's so great to have you, and have fun tonight.
Love you to death.
Thank you. Love you
Okay.
too. Bye.